Top of the top, y'all. It's your boy Show, tapping in real quick. And today what we're going to talk about is how to buy inherited properties, all right? How to buy a property if the person whose name is listed on the deed or title is deceased now, all right? Generally, that's going to go to next of kin, which would be an heir or heirs. There could be several heirs to a property. If someone passes away and doesn't have a will in place, that can go to a lot of people. If he has a lot of kids, if they were married at the time, it's just a lot of stipulations, guys. And so you want to know how to work past those problems, all right? So let's say you have a new lead, all right? Maybe you're chasing probate leads, all right? If you're chasing probate leads, then that means that these people, someone did decease who owned the property, but they had a will or something in place that's going to take the family to probate court, and probate court is going to figure out who the heirs of the property are, and then the family can sell the property, all right? So one thing to understand about probate court is it can be very costly and it can be very time consuming. Probate court can take a long time. I have dealt with leads that have been going through probate court for 1 to 2 years, all right? So probate court can take a long time, but at the end of that, if you maintain your follow-up, that can be a lucrative deal for you, because after going through probate court and fighting with family and things like that, these people normally are ready to sell those properties and will accept a cash offer, all right? But that's if you're chasing probates. Now, if you just get someone who wants to sell a property, let's say someone calls you or you reach out to someone and they are the son of someone who owned the property, all right? So their father has passed away. Let's call him a he. So his father has passed away and he has inherited this property, but there was no will in place, all right? So what we do and what you can do to bypass getting an attorney, going through probate process, and telling the seller about that process, what we like to do is offer a far cheaper and quicker and much just easier way to do it, and that's the affidavit of airship process, guys, all right? And if you're working with a good title company, they can tell you all about this. Our title company, we've worked with several title companies. They all do the affidavit of airship process. It's always similar and much more affordable than hiring an attorney and going to probate court, all right? So we offer this service for free. We don't charge our clients. The title company may charge us a couple $100, depending on how many affidavits have to be done. But it's something that we eat up in our assignment fee. We don't charge our clients for this, and that's one of the beauties of it, because we offer them a solution or a different option than going through probate court and having to hire an attorney, all right, guys? So the affidavit of airship process is pretty much like a family tree. It's like a form about the deceased person. So back to our guy, we're buying a property from him that his father owned and his father is now deceased. And so let's say the guy that we're working with, he wants to sell the property. We negotiate a price. Everything's all good. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get him under contract. And then, like I said, us and title are going to figure out the affidavit of airship process and see who all the heirs are, right? If he had other brothers and sisters, they're going to be heirs to the property. If his dad was married, his late wife is going to be an heir to the property. There are a lot of different stipulations, guys, so you want to work closely with a title company on this and get it figured out. But the first general steps are go ahead and get that property under contract, all right? Having your seller fill out an affidavit of airship form. Like I said, this is like a family tree that will describe his father's life, okay? They will want his father's name, social security number, birth date, death date, a copy of the death certificate so they can make sure he is deceased, and things like that. They want witnesses that have known him and the family for at least 10 years that can verify this information. What else? They want to know his past marriages, who he was married to, when they got divorced, if the divorce was actually real, because if not, then his ex-wife may be an heir to the property. If he has stepkids, it goes pretty deep, guys. But like I said, this is something you can get done at title company pretty quick without having to involve an attorney, all right? So it's pretty much just like a family tree that wants all the information for the deceased to determine who are heirs for their property, since there was no living will left in place, all right? It's definitely a situation where it's still going to take time to get all this paperwork done and let title sort through it. But again, the purpose is to provide a convenience and more affordable way of doing it than your seller having to go get an attorney and go through the probate process. And when you learn the affidavit of airship process, you can explain it to your sellers and tell them how much more convenient it is what you're offering them to go this route as opposed to trying probate that could go for years. When we talk about affidavit of airship, maybe 30, 60 days, under contract, we can get everything worked out. Just depends on how many people own the title, how many heirs are deceased, because if the father who passed away on title had 4 children and 2 of those children are deceased, then his grandkids could be heirs to the property. So, I mean, it's a real family tree, guys. It breaks it down because you want to have a clear title. You want to make sure you can get a title commitment and title insurance, and nobody can come back later on after the transaction is done and say, hey, I'm an heir to this property and you guys skipped over me, all right? So that's the purpose of the affidavit of heirship, and that's how you would go about buying an inherited property from a seller, all right? I definitely suggest go ahead getting that property under contract, telling your title company that, look, the person on title is deceased. And so we will have to do an affidavit of heirship and help them and let them help walk you through that process as you walk your seller through that process. All right. That's the best way to do it. That's how we do all of our inherited properties. We do a lot of affidavit of airships on our deals, and they do take time, but we nurture those deals and they turn out to be lucrative for us, and you can do the same things. Those are good leads, guys. People who inherited houses, they may or may not have an emotional attachment. It's kind of 50-50, but the ones who don't is perfect, guys. All right. The people who do have an emotional attachment, it may have been their mother's house. They want to keep the property in the family, things like that. The people who don't have an emotional attachment, they already have a family in the house. They don't need another house to have to pay taxes on, pay insurance on, and keep up. They might not want to be landlords and rent out the property, all right? So they just want to get rid of it. So you can get people from either side. Either way, you can still do a deal. The emotional ties don't equal financial stability in order to keep up with the property. So, follow up on your leads. Inherited properties are great leads, guys, and that's how you solve that, all right? That's how you work with sellers who have inherited a property and get the deal done. Work close with your title company, guys, and figure it out, all right? That's what they're there for. They get paid to do their job. Tap in with me.